What is it about being a high-stakes con man that attracts people so? You see this lifestyle glamorized in movies all the time, like in the Ocean's films and the Italian Job, and anime is no different, the biggest example being Lupin the Third. Now we have Great Pretender, and we have to ask the question, does it pull off that successful heist to make it among one of the greats? Well, let's find out. Edamura considers himself to be the greatest con man in all of Japan, and just like all great con men, they end up trying to con the wrong person. In this tale, it's a man named Lawrence, a con man himself who ends up recruiting Edamura in order to con the most scummiest people around the world with the help of other unsavories. The enjoyment of a show like this really comes down to two things. Are the characters interesting, and are the heists entertaining? Well, to answer that first question, kind of. Edamura is your typical anime protagonist, and while his backstory does play an integral part, he's never someone I found myself really rooting for. That's not to say he's a terrible or even a bad protagonist. He's just not someone who's very memorable. The other characters are just fine. Each heist they go on sees the backstory to one come into more of a focus. And again, while they're not bad, I didn't find myself enamored by any of these characters either. Now, what I did really like is that as the characters get older, they actually look older. Many a time in anime, no matter how much time passes, characters end up looking exactly the same and wearing the exact same clothes. Now, there is still some of that from time to time, but for a majority of it, as time passes, you see their styles change. You see their hair get longer. And yeah, that's exactly how people are. So thank you guys for actually doing that, showing the reflection of time passing. Now, to answer the second question, are the heists entertaining? Well, they do suffer from some convolution, especially the final one, but I found myself interested in seeing the twists and turns they took, even if some of them were fairly obvious in how they were going to play out. That is to say, while you might not have known every individual twist that was going to come your way, you no doubt knew what the ultimate outcome was going to be. Now, for this next real big complaint, I really have to go into spoilers and start talking about that final heist, as well as a lot of the twists and turns. So guys, if you just don't want to be spoiled, you haven't seen the show yet, I would suggest stopping it now. I would recommend giving it a rate. So if you're just looking for that, take that for what it's worth. For everyone else, let's begin. I find it hard to believe that every single thing that was set up for this revenge plot at the very end had every little move accounted for. I mean, everything. From all the members being recruited to their history taking place into all the different heists that took place throughout the season, and Edamura going to jail? Like, that was part of the plan? Him going away for a couple of years? And maybe you can make the argument that, oh, the plan was altered to match what they needed, but then Edamura's father getting out of jail at just the right time? What the fuck? What are the odds of that? Now, on top of all of that, this final mission seemed to be more of a focus towards the Japanese head branch of this child slavery ring. And it was odd to me because the main target was supposed to be the Chinese ring, the Chinese branch of the whole operation. Now, that's not to say that the Japanese branch didn't get what it deserved, but to go so far as to trick the head of that branch into building bonds with Edamura, only to make her think she lost a son figure, and then show that he was actually a traitor seems incredibly cruel to her, and not to the person the revenge was supposed to focus on. Now again, none of these people are good people, and so the Japanese head branch definitely got what they deserved, but it seems so out of place, especially with how many years this whole revenge scheme came into being, that this person ended up being really the main focus over this other person who is the one that really was the one that was supposed to be the central focus of the revenge. So I don't know, take that for what it's worth. In the end, I still liked seeing all the twists and turns, even if a lot of it was pretty far-fetched. So, yeah. Okay, well, with all that convolution, I'm still gonna give Great Pretender a 3 out of 5, with a recommendation to rent it. Now, it pulls off its heist just fine, but the spoils just aren't enough to put this in the big leagues with other shows. I really only just scratched the surface of this one. There's a lot that can be discussed in it, but these are supposed to be quick reviews, so we'll just move on from here. And guys, we're down to the final 2 reviews left. Hopefully tomorrow's anime can really pull off the big heist and make me really excited for what's to come. Until then, guys, like always, stay safe out there and have a good one.